All right, today we're joined by Sanyan, who is a developer at ByteDance, which is the parent company of a number of companies, including TikTok. And he's working on a new static site generator that's focused on documentation called Rspress. It has a bunch of cool features and really fast build performance. So I'm really excited to talk to Sanyan today. Welcome.
Yeah, hey Mike, thanks for having me. I'm the maintainer of Rspress, and I'm also the member of web infra team in ByteDance. I'm very happy to be here to talk about Rspress, about its features, its design, and the technology ecosystem behind it, and some other things. And I hope you will like it.
Uh, I'm sure I will. I'm looking forward to it. So let's start off with the first question. Why create Rspress? There are other static site generators out there, documentation ones like Docusaurus and MKDocs. Why create your own static site generator?
Yeah, Rspress was released last month, and is initially designed to be fast, flexible, and developer friendly. The main goal of Rspress is to help developers and technology writers write static sites of any skill and make it easy to create, to manage, and to deploy any static sites. Yeah, in current open source community, there are many static sites generators, such as Doxaros, Lecture, Hugo, Codes, and so on. But Rspress is different from these products in many ways. I want to say, and I want to say the most important difference is that Rspress is designed to be fast and even very fast in very large projects. That's the scenario we meet in our team. In Rspress, you can start a project, even a very big project, within 1 second, which other frameworks can do it very hard. And Rspress is also very fast in production environment, which is very important, even especially when the site is very large. And the build time always means the server costs in the CI environment.
Yeah. So in the enterprise environment, how large are the sites? How many pages do they have?
About 800 pages. And when we use Doxaros, the startup time may be 20 seconds and even more. And the build time in production may take more time. And when we use Rspress, the startup time could be only 2 seconds. Yeah,
Wow.
the hot module replacement maybe 200 milliseconds. It's very fast.
Yeah, that is very fast.
This is a very fresh experience.
So what makes Rspress so fast? How can it do that 100 times faster than Docusaurus?
Yeah, that's a very important question. The performance is one of the most important advantage of Rspress, and we have done a lot of work to improve its performance. First of all, I want to talk about the startup time in development environment. In the most popular static site generators, we found the bottleneck is the build process. To be more specific, the one is bundler and the other is Markdown compiler. In traditional way, we usually use Webpack as a bundler. Webpack is a very powerful bundler, and it has about 10-year-old history. And we developed and it's not so fast. And so we developed a new bundler called Rspress, which is based on Rust. In Rspress, we use lots of optimization methods to improve the build performance. And Rspress is 5 to 10 times faster than Webpack. Yeah, that's the first one.
Yeah.
The other bottleneck is the Markdown compiler. In the most popular static site generators now, they use the Markdown compiler written in JavaScript, which is somehow slow, especially when the document is very large. So we try to rewrite the Markdown compiler in Rust. That's an interesting exploration. In the beginning, I think it's very difficult to implement the Markdown specs in Rust from scratch. But I found the fact is not like that. Because one day I found a repo called MDX.js.rs. This is a library written in Rust, which is used to compile the MDX content. What makes me more surprised is that the library is written by the maintainer of the MDX compiler in JavaScript version.
Wow.
However, for some reasons, the Rust version library can't be extended by external plugins, and it can't be called by Node.js. So we face the two problems. So then we decided to fork the repo and add some necessary plugins for Rspress, such as the table of contents, the front meta, and so on. And we also added the Node.js bounding for the library. So we can compile the Rust library into a Node.js add-on, and then we can call Rust library in Node.js. That's very cool. So we found that the compiler in Rust version is about 20 times faster than JavaScript version. When I first saw the result, I'm really surprised, but it's true.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So what's the design philosophy behind Rspress?
I think it's a very good topic. Yeah, actually, as the project becomes more and more complex, we have to face many design problems and need to make some trade-off or technology decisions. Yeah, it's not easy. So in this process, we have to think about some principles, some incline directions, and what is important, what is not so important and can be sacrificed. So medicines, we have to think about medicines, and this makes the design philosophy of Rspress, I think. Next, I'd like to share something details about design philosophy. The first is that the usage should be simple and easy to get started. Yeah, we try to reduce the mental burden as much as possible, and we try to avoid introducing unnecessary concepts and config items. For example, if you are a new user, you can start and deploy a site by Rspress in a few minutes. You don't even to have you don't even have to write any config. You just need to write your document content, and then run the start or build comment, and you will get the static site. It's very simple. Yeah, the second one is the core. The core should be lean and extensible. We try to make the core of Rspress as small as possible, and we try to make it flexible enough. So we design a plugin system for Rspress, which allows you to extend the functionality of Rspress in many ways. For example, you can add some global components, some global styles, and integrate some actual functionality, such as generating sitemap files, and so on. And you can also develop your own plugins to meet your own needs. Yeah. The third one is the performance, and the performance is the top priority, especially when site is very large. Yeah, we have done a lot of work to improve the build performance of Rspress. We use Rust toolchain to make the build process faster, and we also try to reduce the build cost as much as possible. And we will continue to do so in the future. In addition, we also pay attention to the runtime performance of the site, such as the first page performance and subsequent page performance. What I want to say is that performance has a higher priority than other things in Rspress. That's what design philosophy means. In most cases, we build our products. Once we become more inclined to a certain direction, we will sacrifice something in other aspects.
Yes.
This always happens. Yeah. In Rspress, we face the same problem. For example, the default Markdown compiler in Rspress is written in Rust, which is very fast, but it's not extensible, and you can't use the plugins in the community. Under such circumstance, we choose to sacrifice the extensibility of the Markdown compiler in the default case. By the way, we will try to improve it for long term. And the more important thing is we provide a switch to choose JavaScript version compiler. So you can fall back to the JavaScript one if you need to write your own JavaScript plugin or the Remark or Rehype plugin in the community. Yeah, you can see the trade-off here. In Rspress, we always try to find a balance between performance and extensibility. And in the meanwhile, it makes the core of Rspress more complex because we need to implement two versions of the compiler and some extra dependencies. But we think it's worth it. So in a word, the default case must be fast enough. And if the default case can't meet your needs, we provide a switch to fall back to a more extensible solution.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I want to see another point is Rspress embrace modern web browsers and specifications. Yeah, in the traditional web development, we usually add much polyfill code for some JavaScript API to ensure the compatibility of the site. But in Rspress, we don't do that. We only support the modern web browsers, such as Chrome in some latest versions. So Rspress will add smaller polyfill code in the site, which makes the site faster.
Got it.
And we also apply some new specifications, such as View Translation API, which is used to implement the translation animation between pages. And we also provide a fallback solution for browsers that don't support this API. Okay, that's all.
Very cool. Yeah, so if you have Internet 6, i.e. 6 users out there, Rspress isn't going to work for you. What other interesting features does Rspress have beyond the really fast build speed?
I want to say the first one is about some scenarios for web developers, especially for front-end developers. As a front-end developer, you may want to sometimes you may want to write a util library or a component library. In other words, you want to put some functions or components in an npm package. Then Rspress will do two things for you. On the one hand, Rspress could generate API documentation for you automatically. And now we have integrated the type-doc plugin in Rspress, which is used to extract the API documentation from TypeScript files. And we also integrate many other document tools, such as JSDoc. Yeah. And by the way, this area is not so mature. So we have this requires continued investment. Yeah. On the other hand, Rspress could generate the component demo preview for your library. You can write the demo code in Markdown file, and Rspress will render the code and show the demo preview in the document site. It's very convenient for you to write and debug your component demo. This feature is somehow like Storybook. Yeah.
Yeah, really interesting.
Yeah, and the other feature I want to share is the full text search. Search is very important for document site, and generally speaking, the search function is not easy to implement because you need to firstly build the search index and then search the content by some specific search engine. Finally, we need to render the search result in the site. And in most cases, you have two ways to implement the process. The one is that you can use search solution in the community, such as Algolia. The underlying implementation of Algolia is to crawl the content of your site and build the search index in the backend. And you can and you need to put some extra code to integrate the Algolia component and configure its API backend. For some people, this process would be a little complex. The other way is that you can implement a search function by framework itself, which is what Rspress does. In the build process, Rspress will compile the Markdown file and extract the content of the file, and then build the search index data. In the runtime, in the browser, when you import some keywords in the search box, Rspress will search your keywords in the search index data through an open source search engine called Flex Search, which is very fast. It's written in JavaScript. Finally, Rspress will render the search result in the site. So you don't need to do anything else. You can use the search function in Rspress without any config. Yeah, that's the default search implement case in Rspress. We can call it local search because there is no need to call any API in the server. But sometimes we need to use backend API to implement the search, which could be called remote search. For example, if you have a very large document site, the search index data could be very large, which makes the network request very slow. Yeah, that's one point. The other point is that you want to aggregate the search result from multiple sites. Yeah, we face the problem in our team. In these cases, you can use the remote search solution, such as Algolia and mainly search search engine writing in Rust, and some others. And in Rspress, we support the custom search component, and you can integrate the remote search component in your site.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, interesting. So Rspress, what stage is it at? Is it ready for production use? Is it still in development? Where are you at there?
Yeah, we just released the official version of 1.0 version, so it's very stable in production, and we have a lot of business to use the framework to make their document site or component library site. So so there are many projects has been using Rspress in the online sites. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Congrats. That's massive getting to 1.0. And already a bunch of websites using it. It's really exciting. If I'm using Docusaurus now, how hard is it to switch to Rspress?
The config of Docusaurus is very different from Rspress, and Rspress is very easy to get started, and its configuration is very simple. So I think you can switch to Rspress from a Docusaurus site in a very low cost, in a very low cost, and I think it's easy to migrate.
Awesome. Yeah, that's exciting. How do you decide what features to work on with Rspress? Like what's driving your the roadmap of Rspress?
I think in the future, I want to divide it into some parts. First is Markdown compiler. The second is the build performance, and the last one is community ecosystem. Yeah. First of all, I think the Rust version Markdown compiler is a lot perfect, and for some features we have to use JavaScript one, such as the skin of component preview and playground. So in the future, the completeness of the Rust version compiler will be improved and align the JavaScript version compiler as much as possible. In the meanwhile, the Markdown compiler will support more features such as latex and Mermite grammar. That will make Rspress more powerful in some specific scenarios. The second one is build performance. We will try to as I mentioned, Rspress is very fast, and performance is the top priority in Rspress. So we will continue to optimize the build performance of Rspress, and we will try to make the build process faster. For example, we will integrate the lazy compilation feature, which will be implemented by Rspress in the future. By this way, we can further reduce the build cost and improve our HMR performance. And for the runtime performance, we will try to reduce the JavaScript size in the first page, which makes the page interactive faster. For example, for some modules which are not used in the first page, we will try to split them into a separate trunk and request them when needed. Yeah. As project continues to iterate, the code base will be more and more complex. Yeah, and the build size would be more and more complex too. We will find a way to watch the performance status of Rspress. And there are some related targets, such as the startup time, the build time and the dependency size, and so on. So we will try to keep the performance of Rspress in a healthy state.
Yeah.
And the last, we will try to build a community ecosystem for Rspress. The ecosystem may include many aspects, such as contribution management, the custom theme, and custom plugins. First, with the participation of the community, Rspress has a lot of issues and pull requests every day. I'm happy to see that, and we will make the workflow of contribution more smoothly and friendly. Another thing is that now Rspress only has a default document theme, but in the future, we are going to develop more themes for different scenarios, such as the blog theme, and so on. And we also welcome the community to develop more themes. And the next, Rspress has a plugin system, and we will support many usable features by plugins. Yeah, such as providing a back to top button, integrating Google Analytics to collect your access data. Yeah, and support RSS and support progress web application and so on. And we also welcome the community to develop more plugins to enrich the plugin system of Rspress.
That's very cool. What language do you write plugins in for Rspress?
In most cases, you only need to write JavaScript to build your Rspress plugin.
Yeah. That's really cool. And so those what sort of features or bug fixes have you seen come from the community already?
I think the bug fix will be more important, and we will try to fix it in the first time. And we have some plan to implement some features, and we will implement it and or improve it in the long term. And yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So if people want to try out Rspress or contribute, how can they get involved?
And first, you can read our document site and create a Rspress project in some in a simple way. And if you meet any problem, you can put an issue in our repository, and we have some issue templates which makes you easy to give some feedback. If you want to fix some bug and add some features, you can read our contribution guide markdown, and the guide will tell you how to clone the repository and how to start the project. Yeah.
Very cool. Sanyan, thank you so much for chatting today. I'm really excited about the future of Rspress. I think having a static site generator that's really focused on build performance and is doing a lot of cool innovations. It's a really exciting addition to the space. So yeah, really happy you're working on this and really excited to see the future of Rspress.
Yeah. Thanks. I really think it's awesome to dig into the static site generator through the podcast and make more people know about it. I think it's very cool. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thanks, Sanyan.